Hello everyone, this is Dreas, and today I am trying out Foundry for like the second time today. I recorded an episode earlier, but it got all my audio, but this is the screen that showed throughout the whole video. I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention to OBS or what, but evidently there is a conflict that it runs into when I do run Afterburner and Robotuner. So we're going to keep an eye on it and see what happens. As you can see, this is where I recorded. So I'm going to jump back into there instead of starting over, and I will try to run you through what we did. So I basically spawned down there around those trees, I think. Hell, I may have spawned up here somewhere. I don't remember. This is stone. I have B is for your backpack. I've obviously mined a crap ton of stone. Just clearing stuff out. And you've got 2 ores, which you can right click on the map and leave these little waypoints. And the waypoint, you got xenoferrite and you got technum. There's more that I've discovered, but like this reservoir of olamite, whatever. It's not harvestable. I explored the map a little bit to see if I could see what, the generation like. It's just random generation. There's going to be multiplayer, maybe multiplayer right now, but as they got it set up, it's if you host it, you got to set up forwarding and all that annoying crap. They don't handle it for you, so you got to set that up. But basically, starting out, it has you gather 150 of this ore and 150 of that other ore, and they have these little rocks sitting on top of them. And luckily, I left this one on accident. It wasn't intentional. And you look, these ore blocks, you can mine them, and you get like two per. And you can mine these. I guess each one of these blocks has a certain value. Number of times you can mine them. But you only get 2 a lick. And these rocks here give you, like that one give me 25. So there's, you get a few hundred ore from each of them, clearing out all those little rocks or nodes that were sitting on top to kind of help us get started. So once you get them started, they have you build I think they have you build a little portable furnace, which you hit C, goes into your crafting window, and this is it. So they have you build this primitive furnace, not portable, which takes 10 each of that ore that I just mined. So you build that, and then they have you harvest some biomass too, which these plants and trees and blue shrubs, all of that gives you like biomass. And then you can go to this. This is that primitive smelter, whatever it was called. And you can go in here and you can hit reset task. This is the way it'll look when you first put it down. You configure the furnace, and like we just got technum ore, so we're gonna configure it to take that ore, and then you can either hit manage inventory and go and put your fuel in, which we'll do just so you can see. And you can just drag your biomass into that fuel slot. So I just added some, what little I had. And then you can drag your ore and put it into that input, and it'll start working. Alternatively, for the ore, the fuel you have to go in here and put in, as far as I can tell. But for the ore, you can just hit this arrow here, and it'll put up to 100 in there if you have it in your inventory. And then it'll start
processing it, and it'll start consuming your fuel. And this button here will retrieve whatever's in this output. So we'll let that run. We'll build another one of these in a second, but since how this is in a state, works the same way for the fuel through managing inventory. That's where you put your fuel in at, which we can go in there and look and just drag it and drop it right there. That's about all there is to it. And everything's idle now because the inventories are filled and backed up. Like, I don't have any output on this thing, and it's mined and smelted 200 of these plates, so it stopped. So, but and you notice the burner status is it's not consuming any more fuel. So when it finishes doing what it can do, if nothing's running, it's only consumes the fuel and energy it needs. So I'm gonna take these. We may use them, and I'm not gonna let you see what happens just yet, because we're gonna basically replicate that over here, and we'll get to this building I'm walking by here shortly. L toggles your flashlight on. M is your map. When you start, you just got like a little square area that's revealed. I did some exploring. Right now, if you look in the upper left at the compass, that's our coordinates, our X, Y, and the height, our X, Y, Z. And you can dig straight down to 1, which then it's bedrock and you can't dig no deeper. So there's depth to this game, you know, literally in that regard. So once we make that furnace and whatnot, eventually it'll say make tab cycles through your bars, by the way. Eventually it'll say make 20 building blocks, make a drone miner, make 2 loaders and 20 conveyor belts and a smelter. So we're gonna do that. We've already got the building blocks. I mean, I want more, but we're gonna make the drone miner. So if we look up here, if you look at the color of this text, green means we have enough material, we have enough plates, we have enough machinery parts to make that. We don't have the electronic components, but because it's yellow, that means we have the resources to make it. And so when we click on this, it will make it for us. It'll make the resource components. It'll make those electronic components that we need, which I think uses coil wire. And this number here means if I wanted to make 5 of them, I have enough resources to make 5. We're only going to make 1. And we're going to want one of these smelters. So we're going to make one of them as well. And they're queuing up here on the bottom left. And we're going to need 2 loaders minimum. We've got enough belts. We don't need 20 for what we're going to do. We really, I want more of these. I actually want a crap ton of these. But I don't want to go too crazy because until I get this going, I will have a shortness of rods. So I know I won't. Let's see. Let's go here. Here. And we'll go out to here. I think that's 8 wide. I'm just trying to do my math. I'm basically gonna fill this area in.
Oh, my mic was muted. I was just determined to mess up this video. Alright, let's go over here and get these rods here, which didn't get much. How many of these do we have? Got plenty of these. I keep muting my mic because for some reason the moment I start recording and start talking, I developed the desire to cough. Alright, so let's make a couple of them. We still need to make... I didn't make my biomass generator, did I? Still got to make one of them. Alright, so let's put our... And that's what I need. So we're going to put our drone thingy down. Now this panel is just going to be where you interact with this. So it can be wherever. And these foundations are like conductive, I guess, foundations. So now they would have us build and place this biomass burner. I don't have enough to make electric components because I am out of rods. So that's just wonderful. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get us a little ore, and we'll go use that primitive smelter and make us a few more rods just to get this going. Now, if I hadn't set up that research station, which is what that is right there, before setting this up, I would have had plenty of that ore. That just utilized a good bit of it. So, well, you see what those guys are doing now. So let's put this ore in here and let those rods run. And they don't want to be there. Alright, so that's 10. Hopefully that's enough to get our... Alright, that's got our biomass generator crafting. It's done. We should be golden, I think. I'm doing what we need to do. A lot of the rock I got was from like just clearing this level up here and these areas down here. So we're going to put that, we're just going to put this bad boy right here. And we'll rotate the panel this way. I think I gave all of my biomass to that other one. So let's get a little biomass. There's 10. The trees seem to give a good bit more than these things. Like these are giving like 3. Trees are giving like 10. So let's get a decent amount. It'll have to be just a whole lot. How much does this give? 4. Alright, that'll get us going. Let's go in here. Manage inventory. I don't know if you can shift click it. You can shift click it in, so that's good. So that's new. So now we've got power and the drones are coming out and they're starting to mine this stuff. And if I needed to, I could go into manage inventory here, pour this ore out. So you see they're getting like 4 per run. There's 4 drones. And they're mining and dropping off, and looks like they're recharging when they come back. And I didn't point it out when I placed it, but when you place it, it covers like a 6-block radius. So while it won't go all the way back here, it will cover like, I think, 6 out this way, you know, whatnot. So it covers a decent amount of space. So now we want, let's go ahead and get our smelter down. And this thing needs to be completely on a platform. You can't have any blocks missing. And it's a 4x8. And so yeah. Fun times. So I'm gonna run this one out here. And admittedly, I could have got this a little closer, but that's all right. And I don't know. I haven't tried it this way. So, yeah, it won't go that way. So let's just come straight out. I know our panel's kind of in the way. So if you look when you place it, one has to butt up to a building, and the other is where a belt goes. So we're going to butt that in right there. And we're going to put these right here. And you can pick these up with Z if you want to. And place them back down, you know, somewhere else. Just hit Z to go back out or escape. And then we're going to put this other conveyor, and we're going to rotate it, and we're just going to run it straight in. We're going to kind of put it in front of our panel, which isn't the nicest looking place, but whatever. So we're going to put the conveyors and hit R to rotate them so that they're traveling this way and into that. And see, this one's set to output, this one's set to input, so they're going in, and then we need to configure the smelter, and we want this one to do rods. And now it's gonna start doing our rods. And so now we've got all that built. We can just go ahead and use whatever resources, because now that's making our rods. So we're going to be able to make whatever we want. And as far as the tutorial goes, after this, which they didn't tell you, the tutorial doesn't have you place this stuff. It gives you like a little pop-up screen, like this F2 screen you can hit that shows up under every task. And, you know, it kind of, where was it? Production or something like that, building machines. Let's see if we can find it. Automation, yeah. It gives you this screen that kind of explains how to place stuff. And then it just leaves you to do so. So we can grab some more of these rods, and we can make, see, now we can make a good many more of these if we want. So let's do that. And I'm gonna hold down shift. Do that, and at the very least I want to do that, and I kind of want to fill that in too. I mean, I could throw stone in there if I wanted to. So after this part, it just said build a research station. So you build your research station, which I'd already done in here in this building section, you know, and I could build 13 more. I mean, it takes, like, if you look at this screen, it says it takes 40 plates and 20 machine parts, which is basically, I think, like 60 plates. Just it takes a plate to make a machine part, which I could make 827 if I wanted to. That's how many plates I have on me, I think. And they stack up to 200. So you craft that building, and then it's pretty big. This is how big it is when you place it, but it doesn't look like it's just like framed out. And then you come over here and it has an interface that wants the 200 plates, 100 machine parts, and 100 wire coil, which the wire coil is where the bulk of my rods went. I kind of made too many. You make that, and then you get the research interface, or this thing. And so you can kind of go in here and get an idea of the depth of the game. So it gives you, it unlocks this for you, the high voltage energy, which unlocked the recipes for the power line, the small power pole, the small transformer, the small solar panel, which is kind of where I'm kind of ready to get into this. But before we start fooling with that, we need a small battery. And to do that, we're going to need 30 science packs. So starting out, science packs is going to be the first thing that I'm going to want to probably automate. But let's go back in here real quick. And let's see. Let's go back to showing all research. And we'll expand this tree. It goes down. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can kind of see the icons. And we'll just kind of, I'm going to shut up and just mouse over them. You can kind of look and see what all we got. So the reason I moused over there real quick, you see we did the research lab tier 1, which is unlocked this top row, high voltage energy. We got this combustion generator, energy cell, smelting for looks like 4 different ores, larger transformers and power poles and batteries that we can get to. But then you notice it comes down to research lab 2. So we've got a research lab 1. So it's like there's 3 different tiers of research labs. And then if we go over to the left, looks like we're going to have to do the research lab 2 before we can start unlocking this stuff like concrete production, which is, you click on these and tell you like concrete. This looks like blocks. Can be used as floors and walls. Provides increased walk speed. And it tells you we need science pack 1 and 2. So it's like it takes some from Satisfactory. It's taken some from Dyson Sphere, kind of how you have the research buildings that require multiple packs. I mean, probably not on as grand a scale as that game, but yeah. So there's a lot to it. I mean, a lot of this stuff is repetitious, just a higher tier. But I mean, we got a chemical processor in here, a casting machine. What else we got? Looks like there's 5 ores in there instead of 4. I will tell you, when I dug down, I did discover an ore that I didn't see on the surface. I discovered more of the technum and xenoferrite underground, although it wasn't dense nodes like on the surface. You know, you literally mine through one block with your drill, so, and get a couple. We got circuit boards. Again, a lot of this stuff is kind of repetitious. Looks like ignium fuel rods. That's one of the ores I found underground. I don't know if there's any on the surface. I haven't seen any. That's on the surface. I assume the inventory size increases our personal inventory. More mining speeds, drill speeds, a mining laser. That's interesting. Piping, a pump jack. So I guess there's going to be oil of some sort or some type of liquid. Maybe not necessarily oil. And again, very repetitious in a lot of this stuff. And these may be placeholders. That may be why there's repetition. I don't know how deep this goes. Oh, we got a research lab 4, tier 4 over here, even nestled off to the side. So there's another assembler, slag processing, blast furnace, which tells me there's probably going to be alloys, crushers, mining efficiency. These looks like upgrades for stuff, high-tech machinery components, mining laser again, a monument, science pack 4, let's see, I guess the research just tier 4 stuff. Anyway, so that's what we got going. So let's look at science packs. What do we need to make a science pack? All right, we need machine parts and we need technum rods, which that means we need to automate rods, which we kind of have started that already. All right. And keep in mind, we're going to want to automate other stuff too. Like, these components, we're going to want to automate machinery, which uses the xenoferrite. We're going to want to automate the wire coils, which uses the technum rods, and we're going to want to automate the electronic components, which uses a combination of technum rods and a wire coil. So basically just more technum rods. So that's 1, 2, 3 things. Just 5 different things, basic things that we want to automate. These 3 components, and then the plates and the rods, and then a 6th one would be the science pack. But we'll start with the rods, which we already have, and then the machinery parts, which we've got the plates going. It's mine in there, going into here, and then now that these can be inputs, these can be outputs. So I'm kind of thinking of working in this direction, and then the technum kind of is lined up with the backside of the research center, which we can route stuff in the research center. So I'm thinking of pulling out on this side and routing it that way. So let's clear some of this out real quick. I need to figure out something to do with all this stone. Because I want to use these output ports here, I think. And I can move I can move that primitive furnace if I want to. We're gonna leave it for now. Alright, so we want to do... So all we're going to make for these right now is just the plates and the machine parts. So let's just, let's make us... I don't know if we can hit this 5 key and have it craft. No. What about... No. Mode, default, hold right mouse button. Input. Oh, okay, that just changes the input. So let's see. Let's go in here. We know we're going to need a couple of them. I mean, we're eventually going to need more than a couple, but we're going to make a couple for now. And we're going to go ahead and drill this out. And let's see, I'm thinking I'm gonna just start in the center. This fourth one, we need to play it later. Oh, gotta put foundations down too. I don't think the belts are gonna need them, but I do think we will need a foundation right there. And you know, we'll science it and see. Okay, let's see. So it doesn't say it needs a foundation, so we're going to assume that's good. And then what I want to try now, it'll let me. So I want to go into C, and I want to build some of these inclines. Looks like they're 1 for 1. Let's build a few of them. And let's get them on our hotbar. Let's put them where our furnace is at. Okay. Radial menu and item mode. Some items have multiple sub-modes, for example, building blocks or the power line. For building blocks, you can switch if you want to drag floors or walls. For the power lines, you can switch between connecting objects and disconnecting objects. Okay. We kind of knew that. I don't know what that's got to do with this. Okay, so this is a 2x1 block, basically. So it's going to need that spot gone. And will that work? And we don't want intake, we want output. Okay, so it's outputting plates. And we want to get up I'm thinking I kind of just want to shave this down, but maybe up one more. So it's going to be a lot to shave down if I shave down both of them. But I mean, I can always use that to fill in somewhere. Alright, well, I'm going to go silent for a bit and just kind of shave some of this stuff down and hope I got room for it. Alright, so here I had muted myself because I was coughing, and I went a long time muted, so I guess we're just going to record some audio commentary to go along with this, and maybe I won't fuck that up. I don't know what it is. So right here, I'm just, I think I'm building up to lay the foundations to put an assembler on, if I recall correctly, to make machine parts that we will need to make our science packs for researching the small battery, which you see we have as a task in the upper right. So making an assembler, which is what we're going to use to basically turn our plates, or xenotierite plates, or whatever they are, into machinery parts. I made a couple of crates, which I don't think I ever put them down. Well, looks like I just made one. But the crates, I think they hold like 10 or 12 stacks of stuff. Or at least that particular crate. I think I was checking our biofuel, but I was checking on the the wrong thing. I think I realized that later. In here, I'm going to put the assembler down and rotate the panel to face back the other way. And I really don't give myself enough space that I feel comfortable with, because I'm not sure. I guess I should have tried it just to see, but I'm not sure if you can feed into a turn. Like if this turn here would work if I fed straight into it. So instead of trying it and seeing, I decided just to extend our foundation spot, and then I used the Z key to go into destruct mode and move the assembler. Made some more building block plates for foundation. And then put the assembler back down. Put our loader back down. And then get our belts put down. And you see, I mean, you might have to rewind back, but you see how that did before I put the actual next leg of the turn on there. It didn't want to do right. So right now I'm not getting any power up there, and it's because we don't have a connection between those foundation blocks, because the actual conveyor belts, you know, they're meant to sit, well, they're not necessarily meant to sit on the foundation, they just don't carry power. So I'm going to go through and basically just put a line here of these foundation blocks and hook it up to our previous foundation where we have the biomass burner giving us some power. And that gets us all on one grid, on one power grid, instead of having to have two separate grids. I think we should have power now. Yeah, the screen's lit up. That's now showing intake, and now we can tell it to make machine parts. We go to components up there. If my brain will start working, there it goes. And click on the machinery parts recipe. And so I'm looking like, I guess I was double checking to make sure machine parts is what we needed for the science packs. Okay, now it's working. And you can hear that. You just can't hear my dumb ass, you know, from the earlier recording. And now the burner's going back to work. I don't know why I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the fuel there, I think. Checking the output. I think I'm contemplating solar power right now. Then I think, well, we need to make the small battery first. And my initial intention was to automate the making of the science packs. So if I'm gonna just automate them out the gate, because I have a bad habit of doing a lot of manual work in these games like Satisfactory, when I really should just automate them as soon as I can, you know, instead of manually building little bits and bobs here as I need them. And I think right now I may be considering the solar power. But then, yeah, I think I'm going to decide to just, you know, screw it. Let's just go ahead and manually craft them. That's what I'm going to break down and do. And I'm like, how many do we need? And I'm like, oh, we need 30, I think is what it was. And yes, we need 30. And I'm like, seeing if it, you know, shows any progress. I'm still trying to figure that out. Go down here and grab some more rods out of this, grab this stack, and let it start making some more up. And then I'm basically telling you right there where we can input, we can automate the science packs and input them into that research center or that research station to automate that to where, you know, we don't have to manually make the packs and put them in. We can put them in there. I'm not sure how it's going to work with the multiple tier research stations, because there are multiple tiers. You got a tier 1, a tier 2, a tier 3, and a tier 4. Kind of similar to Dyson Sphere project, where, you know, you get the different color research cubes, and you need like some of all of them eventually to research different things. So the higher tier stuff will take tier 1 packs, tier 2 packs, tier 3, and tier 4. And there's also tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 research centers. So I don't know if you get 4 different centers or if you upgrade that one. I'm not sure how that works yet. And are we feeding the 4 different packs into one building, or are we feeding them into 4 different buildings? I'm not clear on that yet. So I'm going ahead and making our science packs. We'll make 30 of them, and they're going to take a little while. As you can see, they're kind of slow. Take a handful of seconds for each one of them. So I'm going to busy myself with clearing out the rubble. All right, so got that rubble cleared out and some of it filled in. I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking at here. Oh, I think I was just checking on how quick the assembler was using the plates to as a compared to the mining and the stuff getting smelted. I think that's what I was doing. So when I'm doing the big areas like that, I'm basically just holding shift and moving like from one corner to another. When I'm putting blocks down, it's kind of common in a lot of games like this to have some type of functionality like that. Right now, I'm making a logistics container. Basically, it's just it'll hold more and gives you more variable output directions and stuff for a single object. There are higher tier logistic stuff. Right now, we're going to research this battery, which was pretty much instant once we put the science packages in there. And I think I was just trying to work out how the research, how it kind of tells you what you're doing. And I don't even think I start researching anything else because I'm like, let's get our power and stuff going first, and let's get the packs automated. Like I really want to focus on getting those science packs automated before I go down the rabbit hole of researching everything. The conveyor distributor, that actually did sound like a good one. Kind of lets you split and merge stuff. Probably would be the next thing that I would research. Mining drilling speed. Yeah, there's a lot in that research building that you can do. So now I think I'm going to work on the solar stuff. Because I was waiting on the small battery. So now we can craft that too. I'm just not clear in my head yet how it works. And I'm thinking I'm looking for the information window that we'd looked at previously. That kind of halfway explains it. And it's in the escape menu. As far as I could find. And I'll find it in a second. But I'm going to put my logistics controller or whatever it's called down now. Kind of trying to figure out how much room I need for the loaders. Craft a couple of more loaders. Getting them hooked up. Just realized I had the audio from the game getting recorded again, so we'll see how that does. May have to I can deal with that probably. So now we've got our machinery parts, or whatever they're called, going into that logistics container. And from there we can pull them out and go. It's just basically, to me, it's just a way to build up a surplus, like a buffer. If for whatever reason we needed to, say, take those mechanical parts and make more than one thing with them, which I'm sure we will, we can pull from there and go multiple directions. And right now, I think I'm thinking about the solar stuff a little bit more. Like, where am I gonna put this? Go ahead and went ahead and crafted, I think enough to put one down, just to try to figure it out. Realized I made two logistic controllers, didn't need but one. Now I'm like, do these need to be on a foundation? And they do, but I don't realize it at the moment, so I'll check. And then I discover this thing, and I'm like, oh, squirrel, this is cool. What does this do? And I'm like, oh, it just tells me what I'm looking at and tells me how much I'm gonna get from it. And I'm like, well, that's kind of useful, you know, like. And then I come up here, and then I discover something, and I'm like, oh, this is how we know how much ore we get from each of these little blocks. So that was a nice little realization right there. And then I realized there's a toggle for it. And then when you toggle, you get a copy, where you can copy a machine and quick set to recipes. So I didn't try it out, but I'm thinking if you use that to copy and you have the stuff in your inventory to craft it, maybe it will craft it and place it. I should science it, you know, try it and see how it works actually. Alright, so now we're trying to get some information on this solar panel stuff. And I had just moused over what I needed. That's all the basic introductory stuff they kind of walk you through when you first start the game. And then I think I'm just pointing out the compass and stuff. Different advanced tips. So basically what that's saying is, like, if you have an item in your inventory, you don't have to put it on your hotbar. You can right click it and then place it, immediately place it from there. And it's conveyor belts. That's the low voltage, which is not what I'm looking for. The next one. That's pretty much saying you can look like you can look at the solar panel and it'll tell you if it needs to be on a foundation or not. And that's pretty much saying only the burner generator outputs its power to the foundation, even if it requires one. Everything else outputs to a grid that you kind of got to set up using power poles and batteries and whatnot. Among other things that I'm not even sure I yet fully understand. And now I'm like, where am I gonna put this? Like, why does that have no power? Because it's out of biofuel. And I'm like, well, that's all right, because we're gonna make solar power anyway. And I'm thinking, we'll put some biofuel in there. And I'm like, no, we'll do solar power because this way I'll know it's working. You know, and not the biofuel that's running it. I'll know it's working when I get the solar power working. Right now, I'm still halfway figuring out what the hell I'm doing. Okay, it requires being on a foundation. So it's got to be up there. Pretty much everything that we build here has to be on the foundation, with the exception of the poles. I don't think the poles had to be. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to put this big ass battery. And I'm like, yeah, it is a big ass battery. I'm like, all right, well, we'll put it right there. It looks good. And I'm like, okay, what now? I'm like, let's make some more building blocks, because this is a little too tight. I'm like, you know what? Let's just go crazy. Let's just throw a bunch of these damn blocks down. That's what I'm talking about. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I need some power lines. Let me make some power lines. Make about 30 of them bad boys. Get some juice up in here. Alright, let's put that on our hotbar. Put it beside our power poles. Like, oh yeah, that transformer's got to be on the foundation. The power pole does not. And I'm like, okay, well let's hook this up. We'll hook our wire up to, oh, what? So it looks like we can only run a wire from there to a power pole. Okay. And if you just mouse over a block somewhere, it'll let you put your power pole on. I'm like, why won't it go there? What's up? And I'm like, oh, well, it's clipping through the battery, you dumbass. That's why it won't go there. I'm like, okay, well, crap. I don't like the way this is laid out. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And now I don't know what maybe I'm just thinking. But at some point, I'm gonna like, let's just pick this shit up. And let's look at it again. Yep, we need more room. I'm like, oh crap, I'm running out of materials. Probably gonna have to go get some more of them rods at some point. Like, here, let's put this down, even though I hadn't quite figured out what I'm doing yet, and with the power poles and whatnot. Max connections 1. So I think what I end up figuring out is so you're gonna set that that's basically changing your power from your solar panels, which is, I guess, high voltage power, and running it into that's going to regulate it down to low voltage power. And still not sure, but I'm thinking like moving it to a different grid and whatnot. I'll kind of get there in a minute or 2, maybe 3 or 10. Honestly, don't remember. Still trying to figure out the power poles. I'm like, all right, so I think basically what I ended up figuring out on the power poles was that kind of like satisfactory, that power pole, like your basic power pole, can have, I think, 4 connections. And so like you can run like two items into it, like two devices into it, or one device into it and it to another device, and then maybe connect it to two other different poles, right? And then that's like the most it can carry, or the most connections. Right now I'm like, let's start all over again. And I'm like, let's put our battery. Where do we want to put our battery? Oh yeah, I spend a lot of time playing with this stuff. Trying to figure it out. Solar panel to pole, pole to battery. Like, well, the sun's not out yet, and we gotta wait, what, 3.5 hours till sunrise? Like, we're going to separate these grids, right? Because the picture we looked at earlier kind of basically showed us moving power from like the power grid over to a separate grid where the transformer is sitting on the other side. So we're going to put that transformer down over here, which that's kind of what we're shooting for, right? And then we're like, okay, well, I'm going to go from the battery to the pole, the transformer. I'm like, no, I won't let you go to the battery because the battery can only have one connection. I'm like, well, okay. Because I think in my head I was looking at it as power being one way, and I don't think that's not the way it works. I think power kind of goes, I don't think it's one way. I think it can go either way, or it does go either way, you know. And I don't know what I'm doing right now. I may be coughing. I don't know. I may be looking at a text message. Anyway. So. Oh, I'm waiting for it to get daylight. Yeah, we still got 2 hours. So I'm like, okay, while I'm waiting, I'm just going to get rid of some of the stone I got built up and kind of raise some of this terrain up because I may use it to build in later on. And I'd considered speeding this up just to kind of shorten the video, but you know, that part's done. And I'm probably going to clear out that rubble. And maybe not. Maybe who knows what I'm going to do. I'm going to run over here and clear out this rubble. Oh yeah. And I think after I finish clearing this rubble, that's about when I realize that I've been muted all along. I'm like, hey, dumbass, you're muted. And like, yeah, you're just damn determined not to get this video out in a halfway functioning state. But you know what? We're gonna take our lemons and make some freaking lemonade. And you'll like it or you won't. You're right around here somewhere. Just kind of realized that my mic's been muted, probably from where I was coughing earlier. And yeah, so yeah, good times. So we got solar power coming in. Sun angle is at 20 degrees. Current output is 120 watts. And let's see, we've got the battery grid is charging. Let's put, so let's just connect this. Let's see. Power. So no power, right? That's what it says, no power. Well, let's pole to there. And pole to there. Okay, so maybe the battery is, question is, can we move this? Should be able to, right? So the capacity is going down. So one solar panel, I don't think it's going to keep up. Let's see, how many solar panels can we make? None, because I have used all of my rods. Let's go over here and get some rods real quick. And let's make 3 more solar panels. Gotta figure out how to set up a grid with these solar panels. I'm sure I'm gonna need more of these bad boys. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What were they? 3 by 3? I'm out, ain't I? Alright, let's make a few more. Oh, I'm waiting on the solar panel to make. So we got R. That one there. Let's get our cable. Can we connect them all to this pole? Or is it, will it take multiple connections? Oh, it's grabbing everything in its range, isn't it? Let's just see. All right, so we're actually got a surplus now. So that's what I want. I want a surplus. And we can go 1, 2, 3. And let's do another one. 1, 2, 3. And how many? Oh, we got one more solar panel here. Is it close enough to this pole? I may have reached that pole's limit. Not enough pole. Not enough pole in small inventory. It's not what she said. And let's make one more solar panel. So I think I'm figuring it out. So I think we got probably a maximum of, what, 4 connections to these poles, kind of like in Satisfactory. So we kind of got to be a little frugal. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. A little frugal with how we manage stuff. So we can go from here to here, and then let's I don't think we could tie those poles together, so let's do another pole. I know they're kind of cluttered right now, not how I would normally do it probably, but let's go ahead and put one there. And let's see if we connect. It's not going to let me do it that way. So let's just get rid of you for now. All right, and let's get out of that. Let's do from you to there, and then from you to there. Wow, okay. And then we'll do from you to there. I don't think. Yep, okay, and then you to there. Then let's cancel you to there. Cancel you to there. It kind of wants to bug out a little bit, it seems like. Yeah, it's going. It's going now. Alright, this is showing max transmission rate is 5 megawatts. Current battery input output, I guess, 729 kilowatts. Yeah, I don't think 300 kilowatts is the max of these. So 5, that's 1.5 megawatts. Maximum grid stats. Let's see. Okay. Oh, so we can see what each thing's taking. All right. Well, we got some basics going for now. I'm going to stop this episode here after I get away from this loud machine and before I mess it up anymore. But yeah, appreciate everybody watching. Hope you enjoyed it. It's definitely a neat little game. I can't remember if I mentioned it at the beginning. It's not available on Steam. You can wishlist it on Steam. I bought it from itch.io for like $17, $18, something like that, to play the alpha experimental version or whatnot. So unless you get lucky somehow and get a free access to it. That's probably the only way you get access if you want to check it out right now. But yeah, I'm gonna mention it to GameEdged. Maybe he'll look at it. He may have some interest in it, and maybe his YouTube, maybe he can get himself a key, to try out. I think he might have some interest in it. All right, but thanks for watching, everyone. Y'all take care. Bye for now.